Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, all students. I welcome you all in the course of Managerial Economics today. This is the first introductory lecture of Managerial Economics. But let me briefly introduce myself first. I am Mr. Waqar Khalid and I basically belong to Pakistan by birth. I did my undergraduate degree from the Islamia University, Peshawar, and I secured a gold medal. Afterwards, I joined the Pakistan Toppering University for my master's degree, and I did my master degree in the year 2016 with a prominent position. Currently, I am doing my PhD degree in economics from the Graduate School of Social Sciences, Department of Economics, Near East University, Cyprus. In this fall semester, I will teach you Managerial Economics course. The book which I am following is Managerial Economics in a Global Economy, and the author name is Dominic Salvatore. So we will use the 5th edition of this book. Actually, this course is basically related to the decision sciences. As we all know that every organization, whether it is a public organization, whether it is a private organization, or whether it is a non-for-profit organization, all these kinds of organization always face some constraints, some problems. So, in the Managerial Economics course, we will study that what kind of problems such kind of organizations are facing today in the modern world and how to solve these problems most efficiently. So, the basic idea of this course is to find the optimal solution to all managerial problems facing any kind of organization in today's globalized world. The first chapter which I am going to start is the nature and scope of managerial economics. First, I will introduce you the concept of managerial economics. That what is managerial economics? What managerial economics is all about? What is the scope area of managerial economics? What is the core objective of managerial economics? Why do we study managerial economics as a separate discipline in the field of economics? Why we study managerial economics as a separate course in the field of business administration? Why this course is so important for business graduates as well as for the students of economics. Let me introduce you the managerial economics discipline. The definition of managerial economics is that managerial economics refers to the application of economic theory and decision science tools to find the optimal solution to managerial decision problems. Now look at this definition. We say that managerial economics refers to the application of economic theory. The first word is economic theory. It means that economic theory acts as a base to the managerial science. We will use the application of economic theory. It means that we must know about the basic knowledge of economic theory, which is microeconomics and macroeconomics. The second one is decision science tools. It means we will apply the tools of decision sciences. The question is, what do we mean by decision science? Decision science means mathematical economics, mathematics and econometrics. So we will use the tools of mathematics and econometrics in order to solve our managerial decision problems. Let me elaborate further this definition. Managerial economics refer to the application of economic theory, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics, and the tools of analysis of decision science, which we mean mathematical economics and econometrics, to examine how an organization can achieve its aims how an organization can achieve its objectives most efficiently. This is the basic objective of managerial economics, that how a firm, how an organization, whether it is a private organization, whether it is a public organization, can solve its basic objectives most efficiently. So in the managerial economics, we will use the application of economic theory and the decision sciences. For what purpose? In order to examine that how an organization can achieve its aims most efficiently. So in the economic theory, we will be focusing on the microeconomic analysis as well as the macroeconomic analysis. And in the decision sciences, we will use the tools of mathematical economics as well as econometrics. In the tools of mathematics, we will be focusing on the differentiation, which we generally call derivatives. With the help of derivatives, we will solve our managerial decision problems. So this was the basic definition of managerial economics. Look at this sketch. We say that managerial decision problems, any organization, if it is a state university, if it is a private university, they are facing some kind of managerial decision problems. So how to solve managerial decision problems? We will apply the tools of economic theory and the tools of decision sciences. So economic theory means microeconomics and macroeconomics, and decision sciences mean mathematical economics and econometrics. So we will apply the economic theory as well as the tools of decision sciences. It means the tools of mathematics and the tools of econometrics. In the tools of mathematics, we will use differentiation. But in the econometrics, we will be focusing on the regression analysis. I will make you clarify about all these concepts later on. So economic theory and decision sciences. Then managerial economics means that application of economic theory and decision science tool to solve managerial decision problems. So we will apply the mathematical tools, I mean the decision sciences tools, and the application of economic theory to solve managerial decision problems. But what is the basic objective? The basic objective is the optimal solutions to managerial decision problems. Optimal means the best and possible solution that any organization can achieve. Now the question arises about the decision problems. Which kind of decision problems an organization, a firm, a state university faces? Managerial decision problems arise in any organization. If it is a firm, if it is a not-for-profit organization, for example, a hospital, a university, or a government agency, when it seeks to achieve some objective subject to some constraints. As we all know that each and every kind of a firm, a state university, they are facing some constraints in order to achieve its goals. For example, what kind of constraints a firm faces and what is the objective of a firm? The first one is that a firm may seek to maximize profits. This is the basic objective of any firm. A firm may seek to maximize profits subject to limitations on the availability of essential inputs or in the face of legal constraints. The basic objective of any organization is to achieve maximum profit, but subject to limitations on the availability of essential inputs. For the production process, a firm or any organization uses factors of production. but factors of production are limited in quantity. So it means that if a firm wants to achieve its goal, that is profit maximization, but they will take care of the constraints they are facing today in the shape of less availability or scarce availability of resources. What are the factors of production? That are land, capital, organization. So these are the basic factors of production which are always available less in quantity. So the firm will try to maximize its profit subject to these constraints they are facing today. Look at the second example. A hospital may seek to treat as many patients as possible at an adequate medical standard with its limited physical resources, such as physicians, technicians, nurses, equipments, beds, doctors. So what is the basic objective of a hospital? The basic objective of a hospital to treat as many patients as possible per day or during a course of time. But the hospital objective is to provide adequate medical facilities to patients. But a hospital may also face some managerial decision problems. They are always limited in resources. For example, they are facing the shortage of the scarcity of physical resources. For example, physicians, doctors, beds, furniture, nurses, technician, even area. So mean a hospital may seek to treat as many patients as possible and to provide best medical facilities to patients, but subject to the physical resources, subject to the constraints, and the constraints are physical resources. Look at the third example. The goal of a state university is to provide an adequate education to as many students as possible, subject to the physical and financial constraints it faces. It means that the goal of a state university is to provide adequate education facility to all students, to all people coming from different backgrounds, coming from different cultures, coming from different countries. So the basic objective of a state university is to provide education to each and every student. But the university is also facing some constraints like physical constraints, like financial constraints. Physical constraints means the number of rooms available for the lecture, the number of chairs available for the lecture, the number of computers available to deliver the lecture, and so on. And financial constraints means those constraints which are totally related with the money, with the finance, how to finance the university, because the university is paying different kind of taxes. The university is trying to provide different kinds of facilities, for example, transport services. So this is the basic objective of a state university, to provide education to all people, but subject to constraint as well, like physical constraints, like financial constraints it faces. The fourth example is a government agency may seek to provide a particular service to as many people as possible at the lowest possible cost. This is the basic objective of a government agency, to provide a particular service to as many individuals as possible at the lowest possible cost. This is the basic objective, but the government agency may also face some kinds of problems. So all these examples show that if there is an organization, if there is a hospital, if there is a public university, even if there is a private university, or if there is a government agency, all these organizations face some managerial problems. The question is how to solve these problems, how to find the best and optimal solution to these problems. The answer is managerial economics. In the managerial economics, we will try to find out the optimal solution to these problems. So this is the core objective of managerial economics, which we will be focusing on in this course. Now, as I already told you that we will apply the economic theory in the science of managerial economics. Now the question arises that what kind of relationship exists between economic theory and managerial economics. First, we must know about the theory of economics. What do we mean by economic theory? Then we will go for the relationship between economic theory and managerial economics. For example, we already know that the organization can solve its managerial decision problems by the application of economic theory. The organization or a firm can solve its managerial decision problems by the application of economic theory. If any organization wants to solve its problems, they must apply the economic theory. So economic theory means microeconomics and macroeconomics. These are the main branches of economics. It means that we divide the whole economic theory into two separate branches. One is called microeconomics and the second is called macroeconomics, and we can also call it microeconomic theory or macroeconomic theory. The question arises that what is microeconomics and what is macroeconomics and what is the difference between the two disciplines. If we know the basic knowledge of microeconomics and macroeconomics, then we can go for the application of managerial economics, and we will know that how these subjects perform their role as a foundation. Let me introduce you the concept of microeconomics first. Microeconomics is the study of the economic behavior of individual decision-making units. It is the study of economic behavior of individual decision-making units. What do we mean by individual decision-making units? Individual decision-making units may be individual consumers, a household, resource owners, business firm, different kind of organizations. In the microeconomics, we are interested to focus on the study of behavior of individual decision units, that how individual decision making units behave in different environments. For example, what is the behavior of an individual consumer? How a consumer behaves in the market? What is the objective of a consumer? What are the preferences of a consumer? Resource owners. What is the basic objective of a resource owner? What is the basic objective of a business firm? So, about demand, about supply, about market, about wages, about profits, all these topics are being covered in the microeconomic theory. Now, what is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is a branch of economics dealing with the performance, structure, behavior, and decision making of an economy as a whole. It means that this is the branch of economics which deals with the performance, structure, behavior, and decision making of an economy as a whole. It means that microeconomics covers the small units of an economy. Microeconomics covers the behavior of individual units. Maybe the individual units are consumers, households, resource owners. But when we study macroeconomics, so macroeconomics focuses on the economy as a whole. We analyze the economic behavior of the whole economy in macroeconomics. For example, the aggregate level of output, the total output the economy is producing. We will study this topic in the macroeconomics course. Total income, aggregate consumption, total saving, employment, investment, the level of aggregate demand, and the general price level. It means that in the macroeconomics, we are trying to cover the whole economy. Our unit of analysis is the whole economy. But in microeconomics, the unit of analysis is maybe a consumer, maybe a resource owner, maybe a market, maybe a specific organization. So, microeconomics and macroeconomics are the basic disciplines which provide the ground line for the application of managerial decision problems. So, we will apply microeconomics and macroeconomics in order to solve managerial decision problems. The microeconomic theory of the firm is the single most important element in managerial economics, whereas the general macroeconomic conditions of the economy within which the firm operates are also very important. So, the microeconomic theory of the firm is the single most important unit in managerial economics. But the macroeconomic condition of the economy within which the firm operates are also very important. It means that microeconomic theory as well as macroeconomic theory both are very important for the discipline of managerial economics. In the microeconomics, we can get idea about the basic units, the basic decision units, the small decision units. On the other hand, the macroeconomic theory will guide us about the general conditions of the economy, about the overall conditions of the economy. So, in the macroeconomics, we must know about the general level of prices, which we calculate from the consumer price index, about the aggregate demand. We are studying in macroeconomics about the aggregate supply, about the general economy analysis, about the total saving of the economy, about the total investment, about the foreign direct investment, about the employment and unemployment. All these topics are covered in the theory of macroeconomics. So, it means that economic theories seek to predict and explain economic behavior. This is the core objective of economic theory, to predict and to explain economic behavior. What kind of specific economic behavior an agent perform and how to predict that behavior in the future. It means in the microeconomic theory, we are also interested in forecasting the behavior of any individual unit in the future. So, the question is how to explain the economic behavior and how to predict that specific behavior in the future. We need a model, economic model. What is economic model? This abstracts from the many details surrounding an event and seek to identify a few of the most important determinants of the event. For example, The theory of the firm assumes that the firm seeks to maximize profits, and on the basis of that it predicts how much of a particular commodity the firm should produce. The profit maximization model accurately predicts the behavior of firms, and therefore we accept it. Hence, the methodology of economics is to accept a model if it predicts accurately. So, as I told you that the basic objective of economic theory is to predict and explain economic behavior. For the analysis of economic behavior and for knowing the economic behavior of an individual, we need an economic model. So, economic model is the abstract form of many details surrounding an event and seek to identify a few of the most important factors of that event. For example, the theory of the firm assumes that the firm seeks to maximize profit. This is the basic objective of a firm, to maximize a profit. Now the question is, how much units of a commodity the firm should produce in order to achieve the maximum level of profit. So we will construct a model in order to get answer of this question. We will include the specific factors, the specific determinants that are responsible for the determination of profit, for the determination of best and possible output level. So the basic objective of a model is to predict accurately, to predict the economic behavior accurately in the future. So now we will study that what is the relationship of managerial economics to the decision sciences. Now we already know that what is the relationship of economic theory to managerial economics. Now, what is the relationship between managerial economics and decision sciences? So managerial economics is closely related to the decision sciences. What do we mean by decision sciences? As I already told you that decision sciences is the application of tools of mathematical economics and econometrics to construct and to estimate decision models aimed at determining the optimal behavior of the firm. We will apply in the decision sciences, we will apply the tools of mathematical economics and econometrics to construct and to estimate decision models. The first objective is to construct a model. First we need to construct a model. Then after the construction of the model, our aim is to estimate that model. For what purpose? In order to find out the optimal solution, the optimal behavior of the problem. So for knowing the optimal behavior of the problem, we must be aware of the mathematical economics and econometrics, and how do we apply these tools in the science of economics, in the science of managerial economics. So mathematical economics is used to formalize the economic models postulated by the economic theory. First, we have the economic theory. The economic theory will guide us about the general behavior of a specific individual unit. Maybe of the general economy. For example, let me put it simply. For example, we said that quantity demanded of a commodity is totally dependent on the price of that commodity, the income of the consumer, the price of related commodities, taste of the consumer, fashion, advertisement, and many other determinants are there. So the quantity demanded of a specific commodity, maybe it is a marker, maybe it is a computer, So maybe it is a cell phone. So the demand for the specific commodity is totally dependent on the price of that particular commodity. The income of the consumer, the price of related goods, taste of the consumer, fashion, advertisement, etc. So in the mathematical economics, we will try to formalize this basic economic theory into the equational form. We will convert the economic theory in the equational form. This is the basic use of mathematical economics in managerial economics. We will convert the economic theory to the equational form. After that, we will go for the use of econometrics. Econometrics applies statistical tools to the real world data to estimate the models postulated by economic theory and for forecasting. So it means that we will apply the economic theory, then we will try to convert the economic theory into the mathematical form, means equational form. Then we will apply the tools of statistics, the tools of econometrics. For example, the regression analysis to test the theory, to predict the theory, whether this theory is valid or not. How do we forecast the future? In order to know answers to all these questions, we must know about the tools of statistics. We must have the knowledge of econometrics. Then we can forecast the behavior of a specific individual unit. Look at this example. As we already know that the economic theory, specifically the demand theory, states that the quantity demanded of a commodity depends on the price of the commodity, which is P, the income of the consumer, denoted by capital Y, and the price of related commodities. Related commodities are complementary goods and substitute goods. So PC means price of complementary goods. PS means price of substitutes goods. So the quantity demanded of a specific commodity, suppose this is a commodity, this is a marker, and a consumer wants to buy this marker in the market. His demand depends on the price of this marker. The income of the consumer in his pocket, how much income he has in his pocket. The price of related goods, means substitute goods and complementary goods. If other substitutes are available in the market, it will affect his decision. It will affect the price of this marker as well. So in the mathematics, simply this is the economic theory or the demand theory. Now we are trying to convert this economic theory into mathematical form, into mathematical economics. That is, we will use the equational form. The mathematical model will be like this. Quantity demanded is the function of price, income, price of complementary goods, and price of substitute goods. Then we will try to collect data on quantity demanded of that particular commodity, price of that particular commodity, income of the consumer, price of complementary goods, and price of substitute goods, and then we will estimate the econometric relationship, which will permit the firm to determine how much quantity would change by a change in any of these factors. It means that if a unit change occurs in any of these factors, in any of these determinants, for example, price, income, price of substitute goods, price of complementary goods, if a unit change occurs in any of these determinants, then how such changes will affect the dependent variable, mean the quantity demanded. This information is essential in order for management to achieve the objective of the firm most efficiently. If he knows the effect of these changes on the quantity demanded of that particular commodity, then he can get the maximum output, the best and possible solution. He will solve his managerial decision problems most efficiently. So, first thing is economic theory, that is the knowledge of microeconomic theory and macroeconomic theory. Then we will use mathematical economics. It means that we are trying to convert the theory of economics into the mathematical language, into the equational form. After that, we are interested to estimate the econometric relationship between or among different factors. But keep one thing in mind, that mathematicians are always interested to find out the value of a variable, but econometricians are always interested in knowing parameters, in knowing the values of parameters. So, economic theory, mathematical economics and decision sciences means econometrics, they are playing their role. For example, now we said that what is the relationship of managerial economics to the functional areas of business administration studies. The functional areas of business administration studies include accounting, finance, marketing, human resource management and production. These are the functional areas of business administration, and these functional areas also perform a key role in the solution of managerial decision problems. These disciplines study the business environment in which the firm operates, and these disciplines provide the background for managerial decision making. For example, what is the role of the marketing department? What is the role of the finance department? What is the role of the HR department? The marketing department can reduce the cost associated with a given level of output by promoting off-season sales. This is the basic objective of the marketing department. What is this objective? To reduce the cost associated with a given level of output by promoting off-sale season. They will try to promote off-season sales in order to reduce the cost of a commodity. The production department can stimulate sales by quality improvements and the development of new products. They will try to improve the quality of the products, and they will try to develop new products. The accounting department can provide more timely information on sales and cost. The accounting department can provide more timely information on sales and cost. So, the accounting department will give information related to the sales and cost to the firm. On the basis of all these things, the firm, the producer will take a decision. The producer will try to maximize his profit. The producer will try to minimize his cost. The accounting department can provide timely information on sales and cost. As a result, all these activities can provide more time. All these activities increase the efficiency of the firm and reduce its risk, thereby allowing the firm to use a lower discount rate to determine the present value of its expected future profits. So, it means that all these activities will increase efficiency of the firm. and will reduce the risk of the firm. So let me summarize my discussion. We can say that managerial economics can be regarded as an overview course that integrates economic theory, decision sciences, and the functional areas of business administration studies, and it examines how they interact with one another as the firm attempts to get the maximum profit most efficiently. It means that managerial economics is the overview course, that integrates economic theory, mathematical economics, econometrics, as well as the functional areas of business administration studies. So managerial economics integrates all these different kinds of disciplines. For what purpose? To examine how they interact with one another as the firm attempts to get the maximum profit most efficiently. So the firm will try to integrate all these disciplines in order to get maximum profit most efficiently. In other words, managerial economics is not the study of a number of topics. It is not the course in which we are interested to study a few topics, but the utilization of economic theory and management science tools to examine how a firm can achieve its objective most efficiently within the business environment in which it operates. So look at this one. For example, managerial economics is equal to economic theory plus mathematical economics plus econometrics. We can say that managerial economics is the combination of economic theory, mathematical economics, econometrics, and even the functional areas of business administration. Now, the question is that what is the theory of the firm? What do we mean by firm? What is the objective of the firm? What is the theory of the firm? What are the limitations a firm faces? A firm is an organization that combines and organizes resources for the purpose of producing goods and services for sale. A firm is an organization that combines. The primary objective of the firm is to organize the resources they are having in the shape of land, in the shape of labor, in the shape of capital, in the shape of entrepreneurs. So a firm will try to organize all these resources. For what purpose? In order to produce goods and services for sale, to produce goods and services. So the firm will try to organize all the basic factors of production to produce goods and services. The firm may be proprietorship, the firm may be partnership, it may be a corporation. So proprietorship means firms owned by a single unit, a single individual, like shops. Partnerships, firms owned by two or more individuals. Maybe they are two, maybe they are three, but mostly they are two individuals. Corporations owned by stakeholders. In a country, the majority of the products, the majority of the output, goods and services is produced by the firms, while the remainder is produced by the government and not-for-profit organizations, for example, private colleges, hospitals, museums, foundations. So, in any country, majority of the output is produced by the firms, while the remaining output is produced by different kinds of organization. Maybe it is a government organization, maybe it is a not-for-profit organization. For example, private colleges, they are also providing services to different students. private hospitals, museums, different kinds of foundations. So they also perform their role as a measure in order to meet the demand of the economy. The question is, why firms exist? There are many reasons for the existence of firms. The first one is that firm exists because it would be very inefficient and costly for entrepreneurs to enter into and enforce contract with workers and owners of land, capital and other resources for each separate step of production and distribution process. So this is the basic reason for the existence of firms. That firm exists because it would be inefficient and costly for entrepreneurs. For entrepreneurs, it would be costly, it would be inefficient to enter into and enforce contract with workers and owners of land, owners of capital and other resources for each separate step of production. So it would be difficult to deal with owner of a capital, owner of a land, owner of other resources separately in a separate step of production. So that's why firm exists, and firm try to face all kind of problems, all kind of dealings within the business environment, within the firm environment. Entrepreneur usually enter into longer term, broader contracts with labor and perform a number of tasks for a specific wage and fringe benefits. Fringe benefits are those benefits which are other than the specific wages, other than money, maybe they are allowances. So such a general contract is much less costly than numerous specific contracts and is highly advantageous both to the entrepreneur and to the worker and other resource owner. So this is more advantageous, highly advantageous for firm to contract with labor, to contract with resource owner, to contract with owner of the capital. All these kinds of contracts within the business environment will be more advantageous to the firm instead of dealing with each of them separately. That's why the firm exists. Another reason for the firm existence is that the firm exists in order to reduce the transaction cost by internalizing various transactions. The firm try to reduce transaction cost. How? By internalizing various transactions. Internalizing various transactions means by performing many important functions within the firm. The firm also saves on sales tax and avoid other government regulations that apply only to transactions among firms. So these are the basic reasons for the existence of the firm. The question is, what are the functions of firms? The first and important function of the firm is to purchase inputs of labor services, capital and raw materials in order to transform them into commodities for sale. This is the core objective of the firm, to purchase inputs of labor services, capital, raw materials in order to transform them, in order to convert them into commodities for the purpose of sale. So this is the primary function of the firm, to hire services of labor, capital, raw materials and transform them into products in the market for sale. The second function of the firm is to market and sell the product that it has obtained. This is the second objective of the firm, second function of the firm. In the first function, the firm tries to purchase basic resources. Second, after purchasing the basic resources, the firm tries to produce goods and services. Then the produced goods and services will be sold in the market. The third function of the firm is to finance the firm activities of acquiring and selling or the controlling of the financial resources of the firm. This is the third objective of the firm, to finance the firm activities of acquiring and selling the controlling and financial resources of the firm. In the process of supplying commodities that society demands, firm provides employment to workers and pay taxes that government utilizes to provide various services. For example, national defense, education, health services, fire protection, etc. So, in the process of supplying commodities that society demands, this is the basic objective of the firm. Another function of the firm, that they will provide commodities to the market for sale. They will try to fulfill the demand of the consumers. Besides, the firms provide employment to different workers. The firm also pay taxes to the government, and in the result the government tries to utilize all these sources, all these funds for the sake of people benefits, for the sake of citizen benefit, in the shape of national defense, education. The government tries to provide education to all people, health services, fire protection, etc. Now the question is the objective of the firm. Managerial economics begins by postulating a theory of the firm. Originally, the theory of the firm was based on the assumption that the objective of the firm was to maximize short-term profits. This was the basic objective of the firm, to maximize short-term profits, or we can say current profits. Firms are often observed to sacrifice short-term profits for the sake of increasing future and long-term profits. But nowadays, we have experienced that the firms are interested to maximize the long-term projects. We can see that they are spending more money on the research and development, promotional campaign. They are enhancing promotional campaigns in order to maximize the long-term benefits. But both the short-term and long-term profits are very important, and the theory of the firm is to maximize the value of the wealth. So the short-term objective of the firm is to maximize the profit, but the long-term objective of the firm is to maximize its wealth, which we can also call value of the firm. What is value of the firm? The value of the firm refers to the present value of all expected future profits of the firm. Value or wealth of the firm means present value of all future expected profits of the firm. How much profit the firm will earn in the future, and what is the present value of that future income. This is called value of the firm. So, as we already know that we don't know about the future profits, so we will use the discount rate, and we will try to discount the future expected profits into the present. Future profits may be discounted to the present because $1 of profit in the future is worth less than $1 of profit today. As we know that the value of a currency today will be lesser in the future. That's why we will use the concept of discounting. For example, this is the value of the firm. PV is equal to pi 1. Pi 1 means profit in year 1. 1 divided by R plus 1. R is the discount rate, plus pi 2 divided by 1 plus R whole square, plus and so on, pi n divided by 1 plus Rn. We can summarize the whole expression into sigma T1 up to n pi t divided by 1 plus RT. What is PV? PV is the present value of all expected future profits. what is the present value of all the expected future profits the firm will earn. This is called present value. Pi 1, pi 2, these are the expected profits in each of in years. For example, maybe 10 years, 15 years, 5 years. Pi 1 profit of year 1, pi 2 is the profit of year 2, and so on. What is R? Small r is the discount rate used to find the present value of future profits. This is the discount rate. T, number of years, 1 up to n, maybe 2, 3, 5, 10. Sigma is the summation signs. So note that the introduction of the time dimension, we have introduced time dimension in this expression. For what purpose? To allow us for the consideration of uncertainty. Future is totally uncertain. To allow the uncertainty, we have used T. More uncertain future profits, the higher will be the discount rate and the smaller will be the present value. So if future profits are more uncertain, it means the higher will be the discount rate a firm will use and the smaller will be the present value. That's why to consider the uncertainty, we have used the time dimension in the present value expression. And we already know that profit means total revenue minus total cost. If we subtract total cost from the total revenue, we can get profit. So look at this expression. This expression, we can use this expression like this one, simple. In placement of profit, we have used total revenue minus total cost, which is equivalent to that. So this equation provides a unifying theme for the analysis of managerial decision problems. As we know that total revenue depends on the output, depends on sales. So this is the basic objective of the marketing department. This is the basic responsibility of the marketing department to increase the sale of the output. Total cost depends on the technology of the production and resources prices. So this is the responsibility of the production departments. The discount rate depends on the perceived risk of the firm and on the cost of borrowing funds. This is the responsibility of the finance department. The above equation can be used to organize the discussion of how the various departments within the firm interact with one another. So it means that how marketing department, HR department, finance department, accounting department, how they interact with each other within the firm, how they provide a basic ground line in order to achieve maximum profit of the firm. That's it for today. See you next time. Bye bye.